This episode of the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center and The Place. Aligned Health Center is the first chiropractic biophysics clinic in Northern Ohio, serving patients in the Westlake and Beechwood, Ohio areas. The team at Aligned Health Center helps patients with back pain, neck pain, migraines, ADHD, digestive issues, sleep disturbance, whiplash, scoliosis, and much more. The mission at Aligned Health Center is simple: to help people in the Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. As chiropractic biophysics providers, Aligned Health Center addresses the structure of the spine as one whole piece. You see, the spine should have a certain shape to it. When it's in that proper shape, it's easily able to support the body, and it affects the entire rest of your body structure. Traditional chiropractic care focuses on how two bones relate to each other, while chiropractic biophysics can literally reshape the spine to its ideal overall shape. Call Aligned Health Center today at 440-230-6865 or visit their website at alignedhealthcenters.com to make an appointment and to learn more about how Aligned Health Centers can help you with your back pain. Again, that's 440-230-6865 or visit alignedhealthcenters.com. This episode was also brought to you by The Place. The Place is the place for all of your hot tub, spa, fireplace, and outdoor grill needs. The minute you step into their showroom is the minute you become part of their family. The Place works closely with you from the very beginning, from choosing your ideal product, ensuring that you're well informed in your decision, and providing expert advice. Their trained professionals will prepare your home for your new fireplace, hot tub, or grill, and do all of the heavy work for you, making this process as painless as possible. Their continued follow-up and product service sets them apart from their competitors. The Place is not happy and satisfied until you are happy and satisfied. The Place in Medina features one of the nation's largest showrooms of hot tubs, spas, fireplaces, outdoor cooking, and leisure products for your home. Visit The Place on 2377 Medina Road today to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. In this episode, Jeremy and I recap the Browns' home loss to the Rams. We look at Browns' silver linings and maybe realize things aren't as bad as they seem. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. And we pass out some game balls. Jim Donovan, take us away.
45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, can't block! They blocked the kick!
This is the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, you're at the game on Sunday night. What was it like in First Energy Stadium?
Well, I mean, it was loud. It was the atmosphere was awesome, as you'd expect it to be for Sunday Night Football, first time in a decade. It was fun. I mean, and the game wasn't bad. I mean, I think there was a lot of cautious optimism, I'd say, because when you saw the inactive list come out, your heart kind of dropped. No Greedy, no Ward, no starting safeties, no Kirksey, no Hubbard. I mean, it's tough to beat the defending NFC champions when you have your whole team healthy. So you go into the game with 8 guys injured. You knew it was going to be a tall task. You knew that. You just hoped that Baker and them could overcome.
Yep. Well, let's get things started with 5 hot minutes with Jeremy Powell, presented by our good friends at Online Motor Credit. Jeremy, go.
Yeah, so, if we would have done this show right after the game, it would have been a lot different show. I was angry, obviously. I mean, I was at the game. I was loud. I was into it. The thing that got me so upset, Chase, was that I actually predicted, if you remember, if we got to 21 points, we would win the game. If you remember that. So we needed to get 21 points. I thought the defense would do enough to slow them down. Jared Goff struggles on the road, all of that. And the defense that was completely decimated put us in a position to do that. We had the ball first and goal at the 4-yard line with a chance to tie the game up. So I was mad at that point. But the more I think about it and the more I realize that this is the NFL and everybody's a pro, the more I regret that the Browns didn't play more in the preseason. Let me tell you why, Chase. The worst player on the worst team, the 53rd man on the worst team, is still one of the best in the world at what he does. So to expect the Browns to bring in all these new pieces, a new offense, not play at all in the preseason, and start the season looking smooth is just not going to happen. Then you add in all these injuries. You add in the suspension to Callaway. It's just not realistic that this team is going to look good right away. I know Freddie would never admit it, but if he had it to do over, I think they would have played Baker way more in the offseason. I think, or in the preseason. I think that Baker himself is struggling more to pick up the system and find his rhythm more than even he thought he would, more than Freddie thought he would. But when you take into account that everyone in the NFL is good, everyone is awesome. When you got a team like the Rams, a defense that made the Super Bowl last year, a defense with parts and pieces that have played together for an extended amount of time, it's tough even with great talent to jump in and be cohesive enough to beat them soundly, especially when you're missing pieces. You heard Odell say it after the game. We're not the Rams yet. We're not there yet. It's going to take some time to develop an identity. Now, all that being said, Freddie doesn't get a pass much longer. This team has to develop an identity. Even missing guys, you still have Jarvis Landry, you still have Odell Beckham. There's no excuse for not handing the ball to Chubb when you have 3 timeouts, first and goal at the 4. There's no excuse for not having some route, either an arrow route, something to isolate Odell one-on-one down in that area. There's no excuse for not getting the ball to him more, on a 4th and 9 play to run a draw. As ESPN said, that's the first ever draw on 4th and 7 or more since they've been tracking such things, okay? It's never happened. You have a receiver with the best hands in the league, a guy that makes catches you can't believe, that holds on the balls you can't believe, one hand, two hand. You got to give him a shot to make a play there in both those situations. So, I heard the story of Jarvis going up to Freddie after the game and telling him not to worry. This team's still going to be good. We got the talent. And I agree with that. But it is incumbent upon Freddie from this moment forward to find a way to make Baker Mayfield comfortable and to get this team an identity. The fact that the offense that was a yeoman's effort by that defense. You had guys like we talked about, Justin Burris. You had Isaiah Whitehead. You had guys come off the bench and play their butts off. 3 turnovers, put the team in a position, and an offense with stars still there couldn't come through. So from this moment forward, I'm done giving Freddie a pass. There's no more passes. From this moment forward, this team needs to start to develop an identity, and this offense needs to get clicking, and it's got to start this week against Baltimore, Chase.
Jeremy, I'm going to disagree with you. I hear you with the Freddie talk. I don't see your preseason point, and here's why. I would rather be having this discussions regarding Baker Mayfield and Jarvis and OBJ and not Garrett Gilbert and Damian Ratley and God knows who else we'd have on the team. The offense, the first team offense looked so smooth in the preseason, Jeremy. And I think that's why so many people are scratching their heads.
But only for one series, one series, Chase. When the first team that played against Tampa looked awful and disjointed, the only time they played together was one series when they went down the field and scored, and then they were out. That was the only time they looked good. What I'm trying to say, Chase, my point is the NFL, the other teams are pros too. They're awesome. The defenses are awesome. A lot of them have played together. We are not a cohesive unit yet because we don't have the reps. It takes repetitions. In my opinion, they should have played a lot more in the preseason, like Baltimore did. Baltimore's installing a new offense with a young quarterback, and their offenses looked great. Kansas City, we know they're great anyway, but they played a ton in the preseason with a lot of new parts. You got to remember, they lost a lot of pieces there in Kansas City, and they've just plugged them in, and they've looked great. So I just believe that to build that cohesion, they should have played more the starters in the preseason. That's just my opinion. But I respect the fact you disagree, and I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I think the most important goal of preseason is to get out healthy, and honestly, we kind of did that. We've hit the injury bug this first quarter of the season, but that's okay. I think what's a huge testament to our defense, man. They stepped up, played an incredible game, just a phenomenal game, a great scheme. Shouts to our D coordinator, head coach from the Buccaneers. I think he just did an incredible job. Steve Wilkes, yes, thank you. Did an incredible job.
He did.
I think the issue is with Freddie and Munkin. I really do. I don't know what the issue is. I don't think particularly Baker's happy or comfortable. Just looking at, he can't be happy with his production, with the product on the field. I just don't know. It is a concern. We'll get to that in silver linings. But I do agree with you, Jay. It was an incredible defensive effort. Despite all of that, we had a chance to win. We were on the 4-yard line.
I can't imagine not giving the ball to Chubb at least one time, first and goal at the 4 with all 3 timeouts. It doesn't even, it's incomprehensible to me. And to not have some play, I don't know if I read it or I heard someone say it, but that Freddie said he didn't have a play he felt comfortable with forcing it to Odell there. It's like, why not? Why don't you? Why don't you have a play? for the guy with the best hands in the league. So the fact that they didn't force it to Odell, or at least try to isolate him somewhere, and the fact they didn't give it to Chubb is agonizingly just, I don't understand it.
Yep. I wasn't too impressed with Jared Goff. I know we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
The two people I was most impressed with were Aaron Darnold and Cooper Kupp.
Well, Aaron
Kupp's
Donald's an absolute monster. I mean,
top
he's
5 receiver
unstoppable
in the NFL. What he did to us last night on Sunday night was it was criminal. He was wide open every play, and shouts. I mean, I think McVay schemed him open, but man, he just did whatever he wanted.
Well, yeah, that his second touchdown, that was scheme. That was unbelievable. It's like, why didn't we have a play like that? They lined up, they trips to the one side,
Yep.
Ran outs on that side, and then he just cut underneath the defense back across the entire side of the field and got it with wide open.
Wide open.
It's frustrating.
Wide open. I think it's unfair to Freddie putting him against. Why don't we have a scheme like that? McVay is one of the best offensive playmakers in the NFL, scheme wise. But Goff missed throws. He made a couple good throws. Baker had a couple good throws, and that's what's confusing is there are glimpses, Jeremy, of Baker during the game where he steps up and makes these incredible throws. You're like, yes, there it is. But it's like 3 or 4 times a game.
Right. Well, that's where the reps come in, I think. I think that's where getting him comfortable in whatever scheme. That's why they have to develop this identity. I mean, he looked great on these RPOs. We'd barely done it coming into this game, and they're throwing RPO, boom, 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 and he looks great. When he gets the ball out quick, he's putting it on the money. When he has to think about it right now, he's missing targets. I don't know if you could tell on TV, but there was the play on a 3rd and long where Jarvis Landry popped wide open, and he threw behind him. That's a play that he put right in his chest last year. And if it was a quick, RPO, quick throw, boom, he probably would have. But for whatever reason, when he takes a regular drop, gets back in the pocket, he is just inaccurate right now. And, that's up to Freddie and him to figure out how to get him more comfortable in the pocket.
We are 3 games in. Their game on Sunday against the Ravens marks the end of the first quarter of the NFL. Jeremy, are you worried about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about Baker Mayfield?
I'm probably at about a 6 right now, but we'll see what happens Sunday. Like I said, I'm going to start, for me personally, I'm not telling anyone else to do this. I'm starting this week going forward. I think now we've got the preseason out of the way. Now it's time to figure this out. It's time to figure out what we're going to be. It's time to develop an identity, and it's time for them to implement this offense and know what they are and go forward from here. And that's my opinion.
Not to jump too far ahead of ourselves here, but the Browns fall to 1-2. We have a chance to take sole possession of the AFC North if we beat the Ravens this Sunday.
Which tied will be we'll tie with the tiebreaker in our favor if we can win Sunday.
Which would be just an unbelievable narrative. But we have all week to talk about that. Well, that was 5 hot minutes with Jeremy Powell, presented by Online Motor Credit. Online Motor Credit is a family-owned and operated business. The area's first zero interest, that's right, zero interest in-house financing. Online Motor Credit offers zero interest in-house financing because they understand that life happens. Providing good cars to good people at great prices is their motto. They also provide a full-service garage with certified techs on hand every single day. From brakes, tune-ups, and suspension work to air conditioning service, Online Motor Credit provides good service, great work at great prices. Located in Ravenna, Ohio, this NFL season, make Online Motor Credit your first down stop in car shopping. Visit their website to get started at onlinemotorcars.net. Use promo code ORANGE19 at checkout to receive 10% off a brake job or any service work. Also, mentioning ORANGE19 during the purchase of a car receives a free oil change for a year. Just mention ORANGE19 at checkout to receive your free oil change for a year. Online Motor Credit, providing cars to good people at great prices. Jeremy, the Browns silver lining, Rams 20, Browns 13. Baker 18 for 36, 195, 1 TD, 1 interception. It's kind of been the MO the first couple games of the season. Chubb 23 carries, 96 yards. He looked great. OBJ 6 for 56, Jarvis 3 for 62. Miles 1 strip sack. TJ Carey, Money Mitch led the way. Great job on defense. 7 tackles, 4 tackles respectively. It was just a very valiant effort by the defense. What are some silver linings from this Browns team who lost 20-13 on Sunday Night Football?
Well, a couple silver linings. One is they're obviously crazy deep in the secondary, and I thought the scheme was brilliant. If you watch the Rams play, they love to work the center of the field. The Browns completely took it away. I've picked this up. Watch at the game live, and then it was confirmed by Nathan Zaguri yesterday. The Browns, this is crazy. The Browns back 7, okay, played every play, every one of them. Not one of them came off the field. They played the entire game in nickel, which makes it even more incredible that they held Gurley to 14 carries. What was it, 43 yards,
Yeah.
just right at 3 yards a carry against one of the best, most explosive running backs in the league, while playing only two linebackers. Schobert and Mack Wilson played the entire game as the only two linebackers. They played nickel the entire game. That just says just how incredible our front four and our linebackers played. Mack Wilson, a couple times Show was out there realigning Burris and realigning Wilson, but for the most part, they knew where to be, and Wilson flew around. This guy is an athletic freak. I don't know how he fell as far as he did. He looks like a first-round talent. He is going to be a heck of a player. So one really good thing from this game, and Freddie said yesterday we're going to be getting probably three guys back. I don't know which three yet this week. I'm guessing one's Morgan Burnett and one is Greedy because they both almost played. So, but it is nice to have that kind of depth in the secondary where you can roll in a whole second group of corners and barely see a difference. Money Mitch, we love Money Mitch. We know Money Mitch is a good player. TJ Carey is one of the, I think, the fifth highest paid player on the team. So they should be able to play, and they did. They stepped in, they played well. Burris, I jokingly predicted we were going to re-sign him after he was cut. And then literally 40 minutes later, he was with the Browns and starting Sunday night, mind you. Yeah. So that was cool. But he did spend the camp with us, so he knew the scheme. But Steve Wilks, just what a job by him with those. I mean, let's be honest. How many people do you honestly think when you saw those inactives thought we really had a chance? And we had a chance, down to the last second of the game to win that game. So that's just Steve Wilks. Great job. Great job by Dorsey putting together a defense with such depth. I mean, it's just that. So my big silver lining is just the depth on defense, and is just phenomenal.
Jade, one of the things Chris Collinsworth talked about on the program is how we were kind of copying the scheme from the Patriots in the Super Bowl and how they were effective in minimizing the Rams' effectiveness. And it kind of seemed to work. There were a couple of times where the Rams didn't seem like to know what to do. And even though Kupp was open all the time, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So I really think the Browns defense was pretty effective.
Well, and you got to remember that Steve Wilks schemed for him twice a year, the last couple of years, because he was in the same conference as him. But he knows that Jared Goff has trouble on the edges. He likes to throw the ball in the center of the field. The Browns completely took it away. So they forced him. Now, he hit some of those passes, but if you notice, he overthrew some of those passes. Two of the picks were to the edge. The play that TJ Carey made an absolutely awesome play when he broke on that ball, made that pick. The other pick was Joe Schobert again, tipping it, and Burris getting in. Both those were to the outside. He likes to throw the middle of the field. The Browns took away the middle of the field. They took him out of his comfort zone. And like I said, I think the defense did enough to win the game. I had said on our podcast that I thought if the offense could get to 21 points, we'd win. Well, if the offense would have got to 21 points, we would have won.
Yep. Jeremy, another silver lining. I mean, one of the narratives the first couple days after the game here is Freddie Kitchens' play calling inability. But when we did have sustainable drives and when we did hand off and run RPO, it seemed like a really good offense. Could that be a silver lining there? Like, what can we take away from the offense?
Here's what we have to. We can do that, yes. Baker looks really good, like Freddie said before, when he gets the ball out of his hand quick. So when we pull those down and hit the quick slants, hit the quick passes, that's great. But that is not going to work against really good defenses. You have to be able to spread the field. They'll just jam you up. So hopefully we find that balance, we find our identity, and Baker starts hitting those deep passes that he was so accurate with last year. I would love a little more creativity in the offense as well, though. You remember last year, all the cool stuff Freddie did down the stretch, the little underneath sweep plays, the Jarvis Landry, the coming out in the full house backfill. You know what I mean? All that cool stuff that worked really well. I would love to see some more of that too, mixed in. So we'll see going forward. I personally, honestly believe that we're going to see a different offense starting this week, but time will tell.
Geez, I hope so. I mean, it looks like a completely different scheme, different offense. It doesn't make sense to me.
Like I said, they're still filling their way. Trying to, do this. So, I mean, Odell said it. I mean, I thought Odell took a really intelligent, measured tone after the game. Like, look, we're not the Rams yet, but we can be there. We can get there. It's just a matter of figuring out our identity and sticking to that.
Yep. Hey, let's talk about this silver lining. Austin Seibert, another field goal, perfect good game. That's, I mean, the special teams unit looks incredible from coverage to, I mean, I know the Scottish Hammer had one shank, wasn't huge,
It wasn't a huge deal. It was a bad punt, but exactly. It didn't kill us. But then he had a couple really good ones. Mike Prefer, you know what's so funny about Mike Prefer is he reminds me of John Harbaugh. You know what John Harbaugh did before he was the coach of the Ravens, right?
Special teams.
He
Yeah.
was the best special teams coordinator in the league. He's got that same approach. You can actually watch him. I have never noticed this before. I was watching from the sidelines, or watching on the sidelines. He was like almost on the field during every single kickoff, every single punt, lining people up, telling people where to be. He's on the sideline. He is that interactive. You know, I saw number 12, who's actually now the special teams captain, a guy we picked up from the Rams, you know, after cut downs. He's one of the best special teams players on the team now, coming up to Prefer right there on the side, right before the kickoff, asking him something. You know, it's like he's a teacher and a coach, and he knows what the heck he's doing. You're right. I can tell you right now, the special teams are not going to cost us games this year like they did last year. The special teams unit is fixed. Now, if we can get the offense fixed, we'll be all right.
This is the best I've felt about our special teams in
me too.
years.
Yeah.
And
since Cribbs and Dawson's days, I think you said that earlier. Since the Josh Cribbs, Phil Dawson days, this is the best our special teams have looked. No doubt about it.
I have no concern about even field goals or extra points now. How did that switch so quickly? That was like the main training camp storyline. Like, how did that switch?
Well, remember the end of camp, he kind of found his rhythm and he hit those last 7 in a row, including a 53-yarder and some long ones. And it just looks smooth. It looks good. It looks like Gillian, the Scottish Hammer, has figured out how to hold. Everything looks good. Yeah. So the special teams, definitely good job by you. Definitely a silver lining.
All right, Jay, let's jump to some game balls here. I know we can give a couple away. Maybe to entire units. Let's take turns. You go first. Who's one game ball you want to give to?
Exactly. I wanted to give it to that whole quote unquote second team secondary who played. Yeah, they weren't perfect, but they played, they were gamers, man. How many times do you see a team's number one corner out and maybe a safety out and they just get shredded? It happens all the time. It's happened with us a ton of times in the past. We lose one guy and, Katie bar the door, here comes the dam down on us. So just my first game ball goes to that whole unit, our quote unquote second team. And we play 5 DBs. So that's 5 non-starters, that played the whole game and played really well.
Yeah, I want to give a game ball to Nick Chubb. I think if he was really malicious, he could raise Cain this week
but he won't.
Be like, right. I know he never would, but if anyone could, wouldn't it think it'd be him? Like, he's like, why aren't you giving the ball 25, 28 times a game? Like, when I get the ball, good things happen. He had a touchdown be taken away. And then we end up scoring a couple plays later. But I should have gotten the ball once. Like, I would have scored. And we couldn't really blame him for being upset, right? I mean,
no, not at all.
He's electric. He makes incredible cuts. I think, aside from OBJ, has been our best offensive player the first part of this season.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He is him and Beckham. Now, like I said, if Baker can get up to speed, that's why it's so frustrating. And Baker said this yesterday that he feels like they're so close, and that makes it even more frustrating. But yeah, I mean, you got guys that can play all around you, and you're right. Nick Chubb has just been and like Freddie said, and what everybody says, he's last night, I'll tell you something I know about Nick Chubb that most people probably don't know. Last night he spoke to Wadsworth Youth Football Team. Monday after a game, he's out last night speaking to the Wadsworth Youth Football Program. I mean, what a guy, just a solid character guy who does nothing but he's old school, doesn't complain. Like you said, he could complain. He's not going to complain. He's going to do what he's told. He's going to do it hard, and he's going to do it the right way. Nick Chubb, what a guy, what a player.
Yeah. Do you have any other game balls?
Yeah, I'm going to get one out that you're not going to like, but I don't really care because I was a guy who thought maybe we should get rid of this guy, Joe Schobert. Joe Schobert is the undoubted leader of that defense right now. I'm telling you, if you could see him putting people where they're supposed to go, getting everyone aligned, making plays. He blew up a couple of those. They ran a couple quick screen, bubble screen type plays that he blew up. He was involved in 2 of the turnovers. He was involved in the only turnover last game against the Jets. The guy is everywhere. The guy is smart. The guy is playing football. He is a heck of a player. I'm glad we didn't get rid of him. I know I was calling earlier for Taki to take his job, that he might even be a casualty cut. I am so glad they didn't cut him. The guy is a leader, and the guy's a heck of a player. Game ball for me goes to Joe Schobert.
Look, I'm not going to complain about that. I know he gets a bad rap, and I'll tell you why I have a hard time trusting him. DeQuell Jackson, who was an incredible locker room guy, but he would never made a
7-yard
tackle.
tackles.
Right.
But see, look at this. That's the thing, though. One of the things I talked about earlier, we had 2 linebackers playing, and Todd Gurley averaged 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of that has to do with Joe Schobert and Mac Wilson, and Joe
Yeah.
Schobert had a big part in that. There's no doubt about it.
You're right. And I think Sherbert's a little more disruptive than DeQuell Jackson.
Yeah.
But for the
That's
amount
all right.
of,
Hey, man, he's got 13 more games to win you over, right?
well, it won't be hard. I like I
Yeah.
love Kirksey. It's just Kirksey can't stay healthy, and
Kirksey's career is probably about done. Kirksey, 3 straight years now, right? He's had injuries. His season is probably done. And I like Kirksey as well. I think you're right. I think Mac Wilson is a more physical, more athletic player. And I think that, the writing's on the wall, and that Mac Wilson is going to be our, starting weak side safety for years to come.
All right, Kirksey will go to the Patriots and have another career, and it'll just be
get a couple rings.
yeah,
probably.
I do want to give another game ball to our kicker Austin Siebert. Just been blown away. And I think the team feels a little more confident in him as well. And was the stadium like? How did it feel when he was out there?
Good. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of buzz about him, but I do got a story that you're gonna like. So a guy I coached football with, I won't say his name. He's an Akron police officer, and his brother-in-law is actually Siebert and Gilliam's chiropractor, and they go there twice a week. Yeah, and we had dinner with him before the game, and he said he loves them both. He said he cannot overstate how good of guys these are. And he said Siebert was a little taken aback by how bad people got on him about that first missed extra point. But he said that kid is so confident and that kid is so cerebral that it was over at the minute it was gone, and he knew he was going to be okay. And sure enough, here he is. So from first on account, a guy that works with him twice a week, that he is a heck of a guy, heck of a player, and he thinks he's going to kick here for a decade.
Okay, I have one more, and it might be
good.
Might be, I don't know. I think a game ball should go to Freddie Kitchens. All right.
Okay.
And here's why.
Explain this one for me.
Here's why. He took the heat. He accepted the responsibility. He's protecting his players for his bad coaching. Now, I'm not saying that he did a good job coaching. What I'm saying is he's saying the things and seems to be having
it's probably the reason the players like him, Chase, is because he's going to take the blame off them. He's going to deflect it onto him. The problem is that only works for so long. So, yeah, I do like the fact, and I agree with you, that he took the blame. He took responsibility for what was going wrong, and he's taking responsibility to try to fix it. That's only going to work for so much longer. So he's got to, at some point, like I said, he's got to get it fixed now. But, yeah, I agree with you. He was a man. He stood up, and he took the blame even for the bad play calls. And so props to him for that.
To say that, yeah, I wanted that 4th and 9 draw play. For him to say that, like, yeah, that's the play I wanted. Yeah, those are the plays I called. 10 minutes after the game's over. I mean, that takes a lot of balls, man. And if I'm a player,
he could have said he had to look at the tape.
He could have. He didn't, though. He knew exactly
like you.
what he wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Like you. Oh, yeah, I'm going to look at the tape. I'll get back to you guys.
And if that draw would have worked, he'd be an offensive genius. And if we, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. That's true.
These could switch. Why would a team not expect a draw? No one's ever ran a draw like that. Isn't that when you want to do a draw?
Well, 4th and 9 in the NFL, though, the problem with running a draw on 4th and 9, even if you catch them off guard, the guys in secondary are so fast. I mean, it's hard to get 9. But it's tough to get 9 yards on a draw on 4th down, man. It's risky, man. It's just, it's literally the first time since at least in the last 12 years is what ESPN said. In at least 12 years, it's the first time anyone's ran the ball on 4th and 7 or more.
And so maybe a game ball is an over exaggeration, whatever you want to call it, overreaction. But the way that he kind of took the heat, the way that he has responded, if I was a player, if I was a coach, like, man, that's something I want to hear. That's something I want to play for and risk my life for someone doing that. We'll see how it changes. I feel like that's been his MO for the, when things go wrong, oh, it's on me. When things are wrong, it's on me. Well, hey, we want to see things go right, Freddie. Like we don't want to just keep seeing you try to figure this out. He has had no head coaching experience, and I think we forget that as well. He's never been a head coach anywhere, and so the preseason games were the first games he's been the head coach. This is his first season. This is his first divisional game coming up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I mean, McVay's an incredible coach. Harbaugh is an incredible coach. And so I think he has his work cut out for him. And Leslie, my wife, she watched the game with me. She doesn't know what Freddie Kitchens looks like. She doesn't know what a lot of players look like. But they flashed a picture of Freddie, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, is that guy an alcoholic?" Like she just had no clue who he
So yeah,
was.
he's from Alabama. He's from
Said,
Alabama.
"Nope, he's a head coach."
Yeah,
Goes,
that's our head
"Oh,
coach.
um,
We hope he's not a drunk.
right." And
That's
so,
funny.
I hope he's putting in the work. I hope that he and
I'm sure
Baker
he is.
are still kind of who they were last year. Jeremy, one more question before we get out of here. I heard
Yeah.
that a lot of Baker's success and the team's success last year could have been credited to the quarterback's coach. Have you heard that?
It was Kim. Yeah, well, that's what Bob Wiley said. Remember, he said it. Well, he said Kim Zampese, who had been a offensive coordinator with the Bengals when they had some good offenses in the past. That Bob Wiley said that it was a lot him. That a lot of the plays, a lot of the interesting stuff was his. And if you remember, Freddie did say last year that he went to players, he went to coaches to ask their favorite plays. Remember that when he was making the game plans? So players and coaches had input. So, I mean, there could be some truth to that, but Freddie has been around some great, schemes, some great offensive minds. Freddie knows what he's doing. Him and Monkey got to get their heads together and develop this identity. That's what it is. They got to figure out what they do well, and they got to implement that into the game plan week after week and find a way to scheme all this talent together. And we thought that would be tough. I mean, I thought it would come together smooth because the talent is so great, but I guess I underestimated just how good, the other guys that get paid are as well. And it does take some time. So like I said, hopefully this point forward, they start to figure out what they do well and they get those game plans rolling.
I want to give shouts to our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center in the Place. Aligned Health Center is Northern Ohio's first chiropractic biophysics clinic located in Westlake and Beechwood. Aligned Health Center helps patients with back pain, neck pain, migraines, ADHD, digestive issues, sleep disturbance, whiplash, scoliosis, and much more. The mission at Aligned Health Center is simple: to help people in the Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. Shouts to Aligned Health Center. Also want to give shouts to The Place. The Place in Medina features one of the nation's largest showrooms of hot tubs, spas, fireplaces, outdoor cooking, and leisure products for your home. Use promo code ORANGE on any Weber, Royal King, Big Green Egg, Fire Magic, Histon, AOG, Louisiana Pellet Grills.
And Chase, not only is it one of the biggest, best showrooms in the country, it's being remodeled as we speak. Ooh. New sign, new front end. It looks like it's going to be really awesome. So check out The Place for all your hot tub, and
spa, fireplace,
needs. Yes.
For your home, use promo code ORANGE to save 10%. You can visit The Place at 2377 Medina Road today to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. Also, shouts to Online Motor Credit for sponsoring our 5 Hot Minutes segment. Jeremy, any final thoughts?
Yeah, let me give a shout out to House of Hoodies. I got my hoodie yesterday, and that thing is freaking nice, dude. It is high quality. It is nice. I was impressed with the elf. Looks awesome. Everything about it looks awesome. So shout out to House of Hoodies. And hey, guys, I'll admit I jumped on the panic bus. I was on the panic bus right after the game, but I stepped back. I'm not there yet. Now, this week, we win this week. It's right back to first place. So let's go get them this week. Let's hope the offense can put it together. We can find a way to slow down Lamar Jackson, and let's go get a W in Baltimore, and all this goes away.
Jeremy, we'll talk to you in a couple of days with our game preview, and let's get this baby turned around. Let's go, Brownies! Hoo, 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 hoo.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Hoo, hoo.